Gakonga the coach, habari zenu wa Kenya wenzangu. Today, I want us to talk about the rise of semi-professional clubs in Kenya because our population in Kenya is growing. The number of youths in the country is getting bigger and bigger day by day. So what I think we should do when it comes to semi-professional clubs, and when I talk about professional clubs, let us first define what is semi-professional club. Semi-professional clubs are clubs where players play and they are not there full time. They are part time. That means they get money, but not as much money as those who play in professional clubs. And normally the semi-professional clubs are between the professional clubs and the amateur clubs. The lower level clubs are called amateur. Then we have semi-professional clubs. Then we have professional clubs. Because semi-professional clubs would give a space or would create a chance for many youths to play football in Kenya. For example, even youths who are in universities, they would have a chance to play in semi-professional clubs. That is almost a stepping stone before they become professional. But at the moment in Kenya, this gap is unoccupied. And what happened is that we have players who come from secondary schools and then joining Kenya Premier Leagues, and then some of them into Harambee Stars. So what happens is that in Harambee Stars we do not have enough player who are skillful enough, and this is because the system does not allow good development. So what we need to do is to have a system where from amateur, then we have semi-professional, then we have professional clubs. And when I say semi-professional, I'm not talking about clubs who are professional and then they don't have enough money, so they are almost part-time, and then we call them semi-professional. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a semi-professional club, and in general, I'm talking about semi-professional clubs that have a space in our football system, so that we have amateur, then we have semi-professional, then we have professional. This will create a lot of playing spaces for youths who can be paid, even though it's not going to be mega money, but at least our youths can play and get paid a certain amount of money depending on where level, in which level that club is. So for me, the rise of semi-professional clubs in Kenya is a big thing as we go forward when it comes to our football in Kenya. This also will help the competition to get better. It will also help the competitiveness level, so that there is enough quality players, enough competitions in every level, and the quality of our football is going to get better, so that a player does not come from secondary school and then join Kenya Premier League. That is not good for the player, it is not good for the country, it is not good for the system. What we need is that when players come from secondary school or universities, they go through the semi-professional clubs, and then there they can be nurtured to become professional player. There, I'm telling you, we are going to grow to develop footballers who are good enough to play for our country and to play in many other regional leagues. For example, at the moment, my fear is that if we do not take the correct step, we are going to have players who will be coming from Uganda, from Tanzania, from Zambia, from South Africa, and they will be playing in Kenya Premier League. So what that will do, it's going to limit our own Kenyan players in our own leagues. And now that is going to disadvantage Harambee Stars, because when it comes to the national team, we are not going to have enough good players in our national team. So the cure to this is that we must develop a football system where there is a gradual process of players becoming good players, so that we do not just pluck someone from a secondary school, 1-2 years they are thrown into Harambee Stars. This will not help the players. We need a gradual process of making players become good players, and that will not happen unless we have the system that I'm talking about, where we go from amateur to semi-professional to professional football. So for me today, that's a message I wanted to share with everybody, and that is why before I begin, I said the rise of professional football in Kenya. So my fellow Kenyans, that's all I wanted to share with you today. The sun is very good here in London. It is almost 1 o'clock now. I have just finished training. I'm heading home. So my fellow Kenyans, I love you all. I live in peace. I'm gone. And remember to support Vision Total Football Kenya. Bye for now. Kwaheri.